For the warehouses naman po, right now we are in deficit of more than 1.1 million bags of warehouse space. That's why we are looking at renting private warehouses that will cover the remainder of the year target. Sa ngayon po, we need at least 64 new warehouses for leasing. And as reported, ang atin pong stocks ngayon ay nasa 466,000 metric tons. Yun po ay inabalak natin na babawasan through the auction of our aging rice this month. Around 1.2 million bags will be auctioned off this month. So magkakaroon po tayo ng vacancies ng ating spaces if this auction is successful. So that will give us additional 2.4 million bags of additional space capacity for the National Food Authority. So far po yan po ang ating stock inventory level at yung difficulty ng ating ahensya in procuring more and more palay. But nonetheless, yun pong napoprocure namin as reported kanina na 9,651 metric tons. We're buying at 17 pesos per kilo of fresh palay and 23 pesos per kilo of dry palay. Yun po, Mr. Chair. Salamat po.
Thank you, Admin Larry. Admin Larry, just to ask, yung na-mention ninyo na bibilihin ninyo till December is how much sa peso terms?
Nasa
how many farmers will that benefit?
Yun pong 4 million bags divided by 100 bags po yun per farmer. So that's roughly, matutulungan po nito ay mga 40,000 farmers nationwide.
Okay, so nationwide. And then sa warehouses, you mentioned na you still need an additional, how many?
Initially, we will still be needing at least 64 new warehouses with around 1 million bags capacity.
May existing budget ka?
Yun po, yung medyo problema natin sa ngayon. That's why through the EO, ay nangihingi po tayo ng budget for the warehousing, leasing of warehouse. Since ang NFA po as a GOCC, we can only rely on our sales of rice para makapag-generate ng corporate receipt. And our corporate receipt for this year is around only 1.2 billion versus our actual cost of 6 billion for the year.
So sa 3 billion, is DA helping out with the budgetary requirement? Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chair, yun ang nabanggit ko kanina, nag-request na kami sa...
may magandang may magandang pangitain, Mr. Secretary.
Mukha naman.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Admin. Anyway, we will further ask questions with regards to your special role dito sa EO na to. So, Chair Miro?
Can we just ask the DOF? Siguro the BOC report can be incorporated naman sa DOF since you're under the DOF. We'll just ask the BOC later for specific questions, if you don't mind. Yusek Adriano? From the DOF, not from the Department of Agriculture.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. So the DOF has some estimates on the revenue forgone due to the import ban, but the range is basically around 1.4 to 2 billion every month in terms of revenue forgone for the duties. Now, with regards to on the review of the tariff rates, if it should be increased or not, I think pending pa po, sir, yung study and the review. We will update the committee once we have the final results from the Tariff Commission, if I'm not mistaken, and with the econ managers.
Magkano yung foregone revenue from the reduction lang from 35 to 15 over the last 12 months? We have a report from DA, it's 27 billion. Tama ba yan? From July
we'll
of 2024 to
Yes,
June of...
we'll get the file lang, sir. But we have the estimate for the full year given the lower tariff from 35 to 15. So we'll just get the data.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, the Honorable Speaker Boji.
may
is
I
recognized.
reiterate na kung maaari lang na maibalik natin yung 35% na tarifa? Please. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We fully support the appeal of the Honorable Speaker. Ito po ay output, if the good secretary would remember, and DOF na output po ng Murang Pagkain Committee in the previous Congress is ibalik natin to 35 yung ating tariff. So I think that has reached your desk. So please, we join the Speaker in his appeal na ibalik po natin yung 35% tariff.
Lastly, Mr. Chair, since DOF is still computing the estimated losses or foregone revenue, PIDS as well as PCC can maybe just give us a brief report. Kasi kailangan din talaga natin makita. As you can see, Mr. Chair, this is a very complex issue. This hearing is made possible because of the various personal interaction and what the Speaker has seen in the province of Isabela, where farmers are no longer even able to recoup their capital. So the DA has, and the Office of the President has gone to many extents in terms of using the rice tariffication law and the various powers it has. I think we need to hear from the other economic managers on what the calibration should be, very complex problem. Briefly lang, Mr. Chair. Nasaan yung PIDS ba dito? Please introduce yourself, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Ruel Briones. I'm a senior fellow at the Philippine Institute for Development Studies. If I may be permitted, I just have a short presentation simply recounting some data leading up to the import suspension. Hopefully, it will be helpful in today's deliberations. I'm just waiting for it to be loaded.
Can the data be uploaded?
Yes, okay. Next, please. So the backdrop to this import suspension is the decline in the world price. So we have been hearing, and that is very much true, that the tariff rate was cut, 35%. But the backdrop of that was very expensive world prices just before the tariff cut. You can see there some figures of $600+. I'm using Thai white 5%. $632. And then we had the tariff cut, but already the world prices were starting to go down. They fell down quite steeply around September, 580, naging 515, because India relaxed its export restrictions. So the reason why bumulusok nung ganong kataas, $600+ per metric ton yung bigas sa pandaigdigang merkado, kasi yung #1 exporter sa buong mundo by a mile, nag-export sila ng something like 20+ million tons. #2, Vietnam yata, wala pa yatang 10. They stopped exporting white rice, So of course that had a big effect on the world market, but when they relaxed, that also had a big effect on the world market. So by yung red line, 2025, bumaba na below $400, and in fact, by July, it reached the $300 mark and about $375, $374 as of the most recent data from World Bank. Next. So of course, sumunod din yung palay price, because we have opened up because of the rice tariffication law. So ang tataas ng presyo noong 2024 kasi mataas yung pandaigdigan merkado. And then bumagsak din. Nung bumagsak yung world market, then and then nagbaba din tayo ng tariff, then bumagsak din from the peak of 25 pesos per kilo, middle of last year, this is dried palay data from PSA. The latest we could get was up to August. Up to July, bumagsak siya ng 16.4. But for some reason, it showed some improvement to 17.11 nung August. Siguro nung in-announce yung import suspension, although umeffect siya September na. Next. Now, sabay dito, this is a specific, there are actually some variations. So that was Philippine average PSA data. Ito, average data din, monthly palay price, pero Nueva Ecija lang, no? The country's largest source of rice production. Ganun din ang tumatakbo yung trend, reaching the peak of almost 28 pesos middle of last year, bumagsak to 16.3, and then a bit lower than that, I think, and then nag-recover slightly to 16.616. Next. Okay, then of course, kasabay nun, sunod-sunod yan eh. Although there are some delays and lags, there was also a decline. So the favorable effect naman was on the consumption side. So the retail price started to go down. Apologies, I think this also overlaps with some of the data already presented by Yusek Chris. But this is national rice data, national PSA data, and by now we experience an 20% decline in the retail price of rice compared with June of last year. So there's, I think, a very big benefit of affordability of rice to the consumer. Next. There was also an increase in stocks, no? Every July usually, pinaka-peak, local peak yung kasi we know the pattern, no? Lean season starts to kick in around July, so we expect stocks to be highest around July then. So in fact, there is an all-time high nung July of this year, even higher than the peak last year of reaching 2.8 million tons. So it's possible that market players were already speculating that there might be an import suspension and were importing stocks ahead of time. In fact, we could expect this, that whenever we open windows of importation, we might expect that this will already be anticipated by importers and traders, and they will try to bring the rice in during those windows. Next. Oh, I think this import data has already been shared by Yusek Chris. Next. And also ito, I don't have a projection for this year's palay harvest, pero last year was really quite low, 2024, because of climate conditions, 19 million tons versus 20 million tons of the previous year, and we might be able to repeat the 20 million tons this year. So in fact, given high stocks, although they're gradually being drawn down, with the prospect of return to record high harvest of 2023, then I think there is more than enough supply of rice. So in terms of destabilizing the market, I think the import suspension did not actually destabilize the market. But of course, the objective was to bring a halt to the trends that we are seeing, both the decline in palay price and the collateral consequence of halting, I think eventually, the decline in the retail price. I think that is my last slide. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I would like to comment lang on the presentation. Well, thank you for the presentation. No? Ang concern ko lang is yung data set na ginamit eh. Like, in order for our economic managers to make the right decisions, I think we have to give them the right information. Although okay naman yung information na nakuha nila sa World Bank in general and other data, but I think the data set that we are looking at is mali. Why? Can we bring up the slide on yung basis ng presyo ng imported rice, ng 5% broken Thailand?